Is Chargepoint stock finally a buy? Okay guys, in this video we're going to talk about Chargepoint stock. So this is one of my biggest holdings, the stock I'm super bullish on. It's been quite a roller coaster for Chargepoint stock, okay? The stock has literally gone from, as you can see here, it started out the year. Now this was during the whole EV bubble, so EV stocks were trading at a ridiculous high back in early February. Most of the bubble stocks have popped, everything from Tesla all the way down to stocks like Canoe, and Nikola Motors, etc., etc. So there's been a lot of support for Chargepoint stock, and I wanted to kind of start this video off telling you guys a technical analysis on where we're going. Then we're going to talk about some bullish catalysts, and finally we're going to wrap things up with where I think revenue is going to head in the future and why I'm so bullish on this company. So a lot of people have been obviously disgruntled about Chargepoint. A lot of you guys have been laughing at me for my $3,000 per share Chargepoint price prediction by 2030. And even though there has been some hiccups along the way, a lot of volatility, nothing has changed long term for this country, for this company. In fact, things have only gotten better. So there's been key support levels at around $20. So in March 25th, $20, April 20th, May 12th, and much more recently, late August, okay, 2021. Lots of support at $20. So, people are coming into this stock. The second they're seeing $19, $20, people are coming in, buying this stock. And then we've had resistance levels at around 36. So this was a lot of hype on Joe Biden's multi-trillion-dollar infrastructure deal. Okay, this didn't have anything to do with company revenue. This was all hype. So, you could have gotten out of this stock, sold up here. Me, I'm hodling, okay? I'm hodling this stock. I've swing traded some other EV stocks, mainly stocks like RC Moto, Solo. These are companies that I think will do well, but I'm not so bullish on them. But I'm so bullish on Chargepoint, I haven't sold a single share. I'm still in accumulation mode, okay? So the reason I'm doing that is I'm talking to you guys about a couple of catalysts, and we're going to talk about the upcoming earnings. So Joe Biden wants a 50% EV sales share by 2030. And this is basically for climate change, to make the environment better, less pollution, and just overall, just kind of transition into a net, at least net, hopefully net or better than net, positive CO2 emissions future. So, and the United States is not the only country doing this, okay? The UK will outlaw the sales of gasoline and diesel vehicles by 2030 as well. So a lot of countries are piling on board. This is not something like the cannabis industry. So the cannabis industry has a lot of potential growth, but we don't know about regulation. But we are 100% sure that regulators want to push EVs. The government wants to build more charging stations. They want people to stop using diesel and gasoline vehicles. They want people to stop using ICEs, okay? They want to invest as much as possible to push EVs. So while there's a ton of EV stocks out there, right? You've got everything from Tesla to Lucid Motors to Canoe, RC Moto, okay? Soul, Electric Mechanica, and Solo. You've got many different companies to choose from. Even BYD, Warren Buffett, the stock that Warren Buffett bought a while ago. There's so many competitors, okay? But we know that EV charging stations are going to make bank. And the reason why they're going to make bank is simply because they are selling the picks and shovels, just like in the 1800s California gold rush. You guys want to learn more about that, just go to Google and look at that. There was basically, for you guys that aren't familiar with that, there was basically a huge contingent of gold miners that went to California in search of gold, right? Back in the day, gold was basically real money. Now things have changed a lot with Bitcoin and, the US dollar and stuff like that. But back in the day, gold was so highly sought after that tons and tons of people went to California looking to get rich. But the majority of people didn't find gold. They ended up just going broke. But new millionaires were created from the people that sold picks and shovels. So you don't have to find the next Tesla to get rich on the EV boom. You can simply find a company that's selling picks and shovels. What is the accessory company that is going to enable the electric vehicles to move from point A to point B? And that's why I like Chargepoint so much. And then also, we're already seeing a boom in sales. So it says Tesla leads EV sales to more than double in the US, okay? Still only accounts for 2.5% of the auto market. So what has been going on with EV sales in the US? Well, it looks like things were really sluggish last year, but it says electric vehicle sales have more than doubled during the first half of the year in the US. That's excellent news to hear, okay? I was really kind of unsure about the US. I thought Europe would be a much faster adopter, but everything's changed. So it says, but EVs still only account for 2.5% of the auto market. It's so early. It's very early. You know, the EV boom is reminding me a lot about Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin is very low adoption. EVs is very low adoption. So we're looking at two industries. We're looking at EVs. We're looking at Bitcoin. These are two industries that are going to absolutely take over during this decade. But right now, it's still early to get into them. So if you take a look here, it says electric vehicle sales are up to 111 units in the United States versus just 98,000 units during the same period last year. So that's great, guys. Over doubled the sales, over 117% growth year over year. So what does this mean for a company like Chargepoint? Well, a company like Chargepoint is going to basically sell those picks and shovels, okay? They're going to basically allow people to charge on the go, charge from home. The more EVs on the road, it doesn't matter if it's Ford, Tesla, Rivian, Canoo, whatever. It's going to get real crowded in the EV space in the next couple of years. And a company like Lucid Motors is coming there. They're really going to eat a lot of Tesla's lunch with their new Lucid Air, and that's going to really take a lot of business away from the Tesla Model S and things like that. But I think a safer play is Chargepoint, okay? I still like EV stocks, but Chargepoint is a stock that I just need to own, okay? So now let's look at the earnings upcoming. So earnings are coming on September 1st, guys. So the actual earnings of last quarter was negative 18 cents per share, revenue of $40 million. Now the estimate is negative 12 cents with almost $50 million in revenue. If Chargepoint can have a solid quarter, they have so many nice things that I think are going to happen in the future, okay? So now we take a look a little bit into the future, okay? We take a look at where we think they think earnings are going to be in the future, okay? So if we take a look here, we can look at revenue estimates for 2022 is $200 million, 2023 $347 million, guys. Okay, this is done from 10 analysts. I'm using this on Seeking Alpha. So this is excellent news to hear. And then now let's talk a little bit about future growth. Okay, so to give you guys a visual picture of what I think is going on here, if we take a look at the revenue, we can see that annually this revenue is just continuing to increase, okay? So I would say you kind of want to just throw out, okay, so you kind of probably just throw out the whole pandemic situation because people really couldn't drive. And that's one of the reasons why I think we're going to see, revenue kind of flat in this area right here. But it's still amazing, okay, that revenue actually increased while people weren't driving. So that just shows how bullish this momentum is for this company. Most companies involved with the terms of things like, a lot of companies saw their revenue basically, go down the drain, okay? But a lot of EV makers like Tesla and things like that, they did better. So Chargepoint wasn't affected that much. They actually still grew. Now, projections for the next year and the year after that, you can see the revenue is starting to accelerate. And this is starting to look like an exponential growth curve, or if you wanted to give you a kind of a visual representations, a hockey stick growth curve. This is a lot of the curves that we see in some of the best tech companies. We're seeing this in Tesla. We saw it in Amazon, Google, Apple, etc., etc. So I want to get in on this exponential growth curve, this hockey stick growth in the beginning. I don't want to wait until everyone's jumping on board. So now we take a look at the earnings per share estimates. As you can see here, this company should be profitable probably around 2025. You can see here sales estimates are increasing a ton and earnings per share is slowly moving towards profitability. So not profitable yet, but I want to give you guys a couple of more bullish catalysts that people haven't really taken into account for this stock. So now we talk about two acquisitions that Chargepoint made recently since the last quarter. They picked up Has to Be for 250 million euros. This is a company based out of Europe. Okay, they have a pretty big footprint in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland with over 40,000 network ports, 250,000 network ports through open roaming agreements. So this is going to help Chargepoint expand in Europe. And they already have over 1,000 customers from leading brands like Audi, Porsche. So this is a great acquisition, okay? Pretty cheap, I would say. Not too much money for this one. And then they made another recent acquisition. They acquired eBus and commercial vehicle management provider VeriCity to accelerate the fleet electrification. So this is another nice acquisition that will really help Chargepoint kind of expand, okay? Very interesting. Like I said, this one was for 75 million euros, and this is more to help with the whole portfolio of hardware, software, and services by integrating information services to optimize electric fleet operations. So Chargepoint is taking a playbook out of Amazon and Google. They're acquiring, potential competitors. Vericity was founded in 2012. They have more than 50 employees. They're based out of Netherlands and the U.S. And they have a pretty nice market share. Okay, they have nice customers, including agreements with Arriva, Chicago Transit Authority, King County Metro. So this is another software play in Toronto Transit Commission. So this is another software play that's going to help ChargePoint bring in more revenue. So where does this tie back to where I think the stock is going? Okay, so I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just giving you guys my opinion. I'm really going to basically focus on these revenue projections, and I'm going to assume that as we get closer to profitability in the next few years, we're going to see the stock moon. So, right now, this is projected to see revenue double within less than 2 years. So, the stock isn't trading at a ridiculous market cap. Okay, just around 6-7 billion to market cap. Tesla is 100 times bigger in terms of market cap than ChargePoint. So I think ChargePoint has a long way to run in terms of growth. This is a $20 stock. I can easily see ChargePoint becoming a $40, $50, $60 stock within the next year or so. And then once we really see revenue scaled up, I think it's going to approach my long-term price projection of around $3,000 per share. So how did I get to that price projection? Well, if we take a look at the market cap now, okay, it's $7 billion and the share price is $20. If ChargePoint were to 10x, the share price would be $200 and this would be a $70 billion company, okay? If ChargePoint were to 100x, $2,000 a share, it would be around a $700 billion market cap. So I really think ChargePoint is going to be a $1 trillion company. It just checks off all the boxes in terms of the leader in market share, great technology. It's very asset light, okay? They don't have to spend a lot of money like Netflix or Tesla to make revenue. Basically, it's very asset light. They don't have huge overhead. It's just they need people to use adoption. They have a great mobile app that you can use it. And the charging stations are already in place. ChargePoint has been putting charging stations all over the United States for the last 10 years, even though barely anyone owns an EV. So they remind me of companies like Coinbase. They remind me of companies like Tesla. These are companies that were, already in the forefront. They were already investing in EV charging stations before anyone else did in the United States. Now, obviously, it was different in Europe, and that's why they're acquiring a lot of these competitors, because they want to take a playbook out of Amazon and Google, hey, if you can't beat them, join them. So they just acquire, these companies and just grow into a much bigger and bigger company. So a lot of these acquisitions should be completed probably before the end of the year. That's going to add revenue to it's going to add revenue to their income statement and things like that. I'm so bullish on ChargePoint. So, like I said, guys, this is what I'm doing. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like my content, please smash the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up as well. Let me know what you think about ChargePoint stock. Do you think it's a strong buy? Should be interesting to see this earnings. I'm actually have a speculative options play. I bought a call option expiring in 2 weeks. I believe the option expiring on September 10th at a $25 stock strike price. I think we're going to see that. I think we're going to bounce right off of this support and head much higher. But with a good earnings report, we might finally break out of this resistance and head back to previous resistance levels of like $40, $42. So that's it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, take care.